be going live here real soon. Just sort of making sure we got all the connections set up and everything. Okay, let's go live here. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to my first live stream in a long time, quite frankly. I haven't done this in ages. I used to do this a little bit more in one of my other businesses, but I just thought this would be a fun way to sort of say thank you to everybody who has subscribed. Quite frankly, 500 subscribers. It's a small number compared to a lot of people, but it's huge to me, right? That's 500 people, 500 of you who have trusted sort of your notification and your YouTube stream with my content. And quite frankly, it looks like 250, 300 of you watch almost every video. So I really appreciate that. And it's really not about the numbers for me. I'm trying to document a journey, and quite frankly, I'm enjoying sort of the friendships that I'm creating virtually through this YouTube channel, and actually some in person, because I'm starting to meet people in person now. And I just find that to be absolutely amazing. So let me switch over here to see the chat just in case. It's a little choppy, but the audio is good. Okay, that's cool. I don't know what I can do about the bandwidth at this point. So we're just giving it a try, and hey, if this works out, we'll do a little bit more, here in the future, and I'll work on improving it. I can see that the bandwidth is a little choppy, and I don't think I can change it at this point. I did some testing last night and tried to make it as good as possible. But so the main thing I wanted to talk about today, A, to say thank you. B, I wanted to talk about some of my favorite YouTubers and do that in a way to sort of say, hey, thanks for inspiring me to continue to do what I'm doing. Many of these people are the people that inspired me. And then the other thing is I want to hear, who are the people that you watch? There are so many people out there. I'd love to find some new people to pay attention to on YouTube. So in my last sort of update video, at least the one that I did in the summer, I talked about trying to do a little bit better with filmmaking, and I've made a couple little tweaks. But the two main things that I haven't been able to integrate that I really wanted to was my drone. I've had a drone for years, and part of that is because I have to carry this case this size, which is really small for a drone, but still it was a lot. And then I have a camera that has to go with me, along with all my other gear and the other camera that I use, the GoPro and my phone. Although if I start taking the camera, I can probably replace it. So I got this cool little holster that I'm going to try out to make it easier to carry the camera. And I've been able to figure out how to reorganize this little bag to fit my drone in there. So maybe we'll start seeing some of that stuff sometime in the near future. But with that, let's just get into some of my favorite people. And why is this now? Okay. Here we go. Looks like we're ready to go now. Man, all these little glitches on a live stream. So let's talk about my favorite people. And I'm going to go through in a way, the way YouTube sort of has them sorted out for me most of the time. I did subscribe to some new people recently, but basically what I think that means is these are the people that I watch most often. And so I'm going to start with Creek Fishing Adventures. Creek Fishing Adventures, he really started off just as wading little streams, and he's been doing it for probably about 6 years now. His name's John Dalton. The reason I fish the Hellgrammite is because of Creek Fishing Adventures. So that's definitely a big thing to take a look at. I'm just trying to keep an eye on the chat at the same time. But I really like his channel, and he's one of those that, he's really just himself. I don't feel like there's anything that he really does too much that feels like it's contrived and it's done for a reason. Some of his sponsorships are not really overt. I like the way he's done that kind of stuff. And it's honestly, watching his videos and one other person is sort of what said, I could put videos out there, right? I don't have to be this big personality and feel like I need to be something I'm not to be able to do the videos. So John Dalton from Creek Fishing Adventures is by far, one of the people that I watch the most over the years. I've been watching him for several years now. So that's number one. The second one is he just rebranded. Used to be the Online Outdoorsman, as you can still see up there up in his header. Hopefully this is all coming through well. I'm looking here at yep, looks good. But he changed to Fish Anything because really he's a multi-species angler. The other cool thing about Ethan is he's the founder of Mule Fishing, and so that's where I find out about some of the mule fishing jigs and stuff. He does some cool little things. Really tall dude, kind of guy that I just feel like I'd like to go out and sort of have a beer with at some point, go catch some fish and then go have a beer with. The next two are actually local guys. So this is Fishing with Ish. He does a ton of shorts, but he also does a lot of river fishing. And, I found his channel just browsing, looking for local guys because I wanted to see people that were catching the same kind of stuff that I catch. And so his channel's been growing pretty nice and steady lately. He's coming up on 1,000. He's at 888. In certain cultures, that 8 is a lucky number. So sounds like Ish is in for some good luck. In fact, he caught some huge smallies recently. So maybe that's definitely the case. I'll click on the button to show 58 more. Shows you how many people I actually follow. And again, some of these are out of order right now and it's a little choppy for me too. So the second local guy that I watch a lot of is Random Fishing. Wow, it is choppy. So Joe from Random Fishing, I actually fished with him in May during the May Fishing Challenge. He's a lot of fun. And actually talk about a good fishing day. His latest video, this native or stocked, he caught a huge native brook trout. I mean, it's just, you can see it there on the thumbnail. It was absolutely beautiful fish. But he does a lot of small stream ultralight fishing as well. And also does some boat fishing. But Joe is an absolutely fantastic guy. The next one that I wanted to cover, again, these are a little out of order on my feed, but Fishhawk. So I talked about him in my unboxing video for Euro Tackle. He really does a ton of trout fishing, but he does some multi-species stuff. Right now, it looks like he's down in Florida. He's been doing some fishing down there. He's a West Virginia guy. He's got, I think, a very unique structure to his videos in a way because he always covers his gear in pretty good detail. And his videos really have been about the same for a few years, and it pays off. I think when I started following him, he was somewhere around 30 or 40,000 subscribers. He's up to 116 now, which is, man, he has just been taken off. So that's fantastic. The next one is Ryan from Jumbotron. So he does a lot of sort of outdoor videos too, but he does a ton of good fishing videos. His trout fishing videos, especially in Colorado, in some ways, I think his videos are a little bit more like mine. And as I've been watching him more and more, I see some parallels that he does a lot more story in his videos. It's not always about let's see how many fish we can catch. So there is some very good story in his videos. And the net leash that I got in the mail recently, and I've taken it on the first couple trips, and I haven't lost the net once. That was from Ryan at Jumbotron, so that's fantastic. Appreciate you, Ryan. Go back and check the chat here real quick. No, stop. Okay. Somehow I clicked on a video here. Okay, now back to, so next one of my favorite fishermen. At this point, this guy has become sort of more entertainment focused. I do feel like some of his titles and thumbnails are kind of clickbaity in a way. And there's actually a couple things that he does that I don't personally feel like they're really ethical in a way. Like they're not being a good steward of the environment. And so I will call that out, but I watch his videos a good bit, and that's 618 Fishing. So, I mean, he's almost always talking about, the monster fish and the monster of the spillway. He uses a lot of weird baits. His thumbnails, where he talks about using the bait, he rarely uses that bait in the video. He'll use a portion of it, but like, here there's, the big sausage on a hook. Well, he was using pieces of sausage. He also has been using goldfish lately as bait, live goldfish, and I don't think that's a great thing to do. There are so many parts of the country, and in fact, some of the fish in his area are invasive species. So I really don't like the idea of using a non-native species and a non-local species as bait, as live bait. So honestly, that's been starting to turn me off a little bit, and I don't watch him quite as much. But he's got 500,000 subscribers. His videos do really well. And when you talk about formulaic, his videos also, like almost every single video, and he does really just one a week now, every single video follows almost the exact same structure, has some of the same music. So, it sort of like almost becomes a little predictable sometimes, but he still seems to be a really nice guy, pretty authentic, and he does catch some nice fish and a lot of different multi-species. So that's nice. I think I skipped one on my list because this guy definitely has been influential to me, and this is Matt from Indy Yak Angler. Just make sure I'm still on the right thing. Well, Daryl, hey, yeah, so I do watch marling baits a little bit. I sort of wish I had those skills, to be honest with you. There's a couple baits that I every once in a while think like, oh, it'd be cool to make something like this, and I can't find it, but I don't have the crafting skills that he has. But yeah, he's a very, very cool channel, so thank you about that. But I don't know that I'm subscribed to him. I think he just shows up in my feed because he's so similar, and so sometimes I'm in the mood to watch his videos for sure. So Indy Yak Angler, North Dakota, Minnesota mostly. He catches just epic smallmouth, pike, and muskie. But he has some variation to his stuff. He's not all kayak. He's mostly kayak. He does a lot of ice fishing in the winter. So if you're into ice fishing, he's a good one to follow. He's done some cat fishing. He does some crazy lures as well. The reason that I bought the Whopper Plopper, I'd never heard about it until I found this guy's channel, and it's the reason I fish it, because he's not a finesse guy at all, but it's definitely a good channel. So let's see here. So next one I want to talk about. This is another one that I find very entertaining, but also informative. it's way up here. This is Addicted Fishing. So they do a ton of steelhead and salmon fishing. I sort of feel like their main personality isn't the guy who runs the channel, but it's a guy named Jordan Kenobi. And apologize if this stream's a little choppy. It's definitely lagging a little bit on my end too. But so the guy's pretty interesting. He seems very authentic. He's very sort of, Pacific Northwest vibe, very chill and laid back, but very knowledgeable. And they share all kinds of good trout fishing tips and steelhead salmon stuff. And so I find it to be a very entertaining channel. And it's one of those channels that sometimes I can put on and just watch a bunch of videos in a row, because there is a bunch of story in it too. It's not always just about catching fish with them. Next one I want to talk about is Ramon Outdoors. And actually, I need to give Ramon a little extra shout out as well, because he jumped on last night when I was sort of testing this and trying to set it up, and just said, hey, the audio sounds good, the video looks good. There was a few problems I couldn't work out, but I figured those out this morning. They wouldn't have stopped it, but it, definitely, seemed to work. So let's, in fact, I did make one change. So let me take my video stream off of here when I'm going over the channels, and let's see if that reduces the bandwidth and lets it work a little bit better. But so Ramon Outdoors, he pretty much an ultralight fisherman. He just started getting into kayak fishing. He uses a lot of lightweight lures, and honestly, his channel has blown up recently. He's picked up a ton of subscribers recently, and he's at 1.3, like 1,340 subscribers. He's picked up, it looks like 400 in the last month. So he's just on the edge. So who knows? Maybe if you want to say, hey, I was watching this guy before he was really big, this is the time to jump in. Seems to be a great guy. And obviously has proven it with his support of my channel and even just jumping on last night. So I really appreciate that. Okay, who we're going to look at next? Next one, Creek Crawler. He's actually probably up here, a little bit higher, I would think, because I watch his videos a good bit. He's another local guy. Can't find him there. Actually, he's right there where he should be. So he's sort of local. He's in I think southwest or southeast Ohio. I think southeast Ohio. And he does mostly kayak fishing. He does a ton of tournament fishing. But he just seems to be a nice guy. His channel is also seems like it's been growing a little bit lately. He's got a lot more subscribers than when I found him a year ago. So he does a lot of finesse style, even though he doesn't use a lot of bait finesse stuff. So again, this isn't just all about bait finesse people that I watch, because you can learn from other people. The next one is Hardman Fishing Adventures. This guy is almost all fly fishing, but in his last video, you got to check it out. He's now up to 50,000 subscribers. Again, I think he's more than doubled since I started watching him. But this video right here, where it says fly fishing the best lake in the world, oh my gosh, the video or the fish that he caught in that were just absolutely incredible. So that video was fantastic. So you really got to check that out. I can't say it enough. So let's go back here. Bass Fishing HQ. This guy does a lot of, he's a good fisherman. He's a tournament fisherman, but he shares a lot of tips and tricks on how to do things. And I like his style. Every video is definitely sponsored, but it doesn't feel like he's pushing things because it's sponsored. He is sponsored more by like general suppliers most of the time, and not about, just trying to push a certain bait, if that makes sense. Yeah, I agree. Ramon is awesome to watch, Daryl. Yep. So appreciate your comments on there. I recently started watching Fluke Master, and so I know a lot of people already watch him, but I don't remember what it was that got me to start watching him. Uh, the next one is It Must Be the Bait. If you are into, where's he at on here? This guy just does a ton of sort of like lure reviews and different gear reviews, but he's got some good fishing videos too. Uh, he is another, smaller channel, and I don't say that in a negative way, but it's actually can be very positive, because this is somebody that you can chat with, and this is somebody that you start developing a little bit of that relationship, and just have some fun with, and develop a little bit more of that community type situation. And I think he's fairly local too. I know we've chatted back and forth a couple times about maybe trying to do a little some sort of little collaboration potentially. So maybe that'll work out sometimes. This is the video that I originally found him. It was the top 10 BFS lures in 2021, and that's where I started getting into watching him. A couple more. Aaron's Outdoor. This guy he's friends with Creek Fishing Adventures, and he's a young guy that I think he's still in college. He might be finishing college right now. I think he had around 1,000, maybe under 1,000 subscribers when I started following him. He's now at 5,000, and but he does a lot of kayak, river fishing. He's down in Georgia area, but he's a nice guy, a lot of fun. Next one, Hobie Won Kenobi. This guy is probably, in my opinion, one of the best BFS gear channels around, and he is actually, I don't feel like I've seen just a fishing video from him. So he's really about BFS gear and how to optimize that. He's done a ton of stuff on lines and different spools and reels and rods. And techniques, how to cast, how to do some different things. So Hobie Won Kenobi is a lot of fun. John B is arguably probably one of the bigger YouTube fishermen out there. He's one of the Guggen Squad guys, and he, there are times when his personality is a little big for me, and he definitely has some of that stereotypical side of it, and but growing up, Roland Martin, same thing. He was a little much for me some days too. But what I will say is this guy puts together really good videos. There's good storytelling. Some of his long movies are absolutely incredible. This Devil's River one from a couple years ago, and you can see it's I think it's an hour and 40 minutes long. It's got 4 million views because it's that good, right? It really is almost like a movie, a documentary about fishing the Devil's River. And he's got a couple of those other ones too. He's got one in Australia that was really good. He has been very successful with YouTube, but he's been doing it for, I think, 13 years now. You go back to the beginning of his channel and you'll see that he was one of the early YouTube guys, and in my opinion, he's earned everything that he has. And a couple other ones. Nathan Quince is another local guy. Where's he at on here? Well, I'm not seeing his channel in my feed. There he is. Wow, he's way up there. I must have been watching a lot of his videos recently. So Nathan Quince, basically he talks about almost every video is it's a bait technique for the most part. And so if you want to learn how to fish different types of baits, I think Nathan Quince is fantastic. The other two, these are definitely not Bait Finesse, but Wildfly Productions. These guys, they had a series called the Short Bus Diaries, which is really what I enjoyed watching them for. They're really, in my opinion, really inconsistent in their uploads, but when they are making videos, they're a lot of fun most of the time. So these Short Bus Diaries, I think they're absolutely fantastic, and something to go about. they have a little bit of smallmouth stuff in there too. They have a series of flies, and but usually seems like they're mostly sold out of their flies. So I'm not sure what their business model is, but again, they can be a lot of fun. And the last one is, where is he? Here we go, Tinkara Addict. This guy does Tinkara fly fishing, which basically like cane pole fly fishing. He catches a lot of nice fish, but he goes to a ton of remote locations. So I think he's got another channel. Actually, yeah, here it says right here, his main channel is SUV RVing. He's got 158,000 subscribers there. Then on his Tinkara Addict, he's got 30,000. And it's really like once every Saturday he comes out with a video, and it's about, he's fishing an area that he fishes when he's traveling. And I think his storytelling is very good. His video quality is fantastic. His audio is great. But to me, he helps me learn how to read streams, because even though he doesn't always point them out, when you see where he's pulling trout out of, it's pretty amazing. And so I feel like my trout fishing has improved because I watch him. So those are my favorite YouTubers. Let me get back here. I got to put my glasses on so I can get back to the original feed that I wanted to get to. I apologize if it stayed choppy the entire time. I haven't done this in a long time. And so we got other outdoor chef life is what that sounds cool. Yeah, I agree. It must be the bait. He he was just joking around on one of my unboxing videos, and he's like, "Hey, welcome to the addiction." It was so it's also a little weird that I have this 20-second delay here. Guess YouTube will block me if I say something wrong. But so those are my favorite people. If you watch this after the fact, I'd love to hear who you follow. Leave it in the comments. But again, I just wanted to say thank you, and I'll continue making videos. And I just every once in a while, and nobody's ever asked me this, but I always hear that you should be on a set schedule. Like Tinkara Addict, it's every Saturday. I'm more focused on documenting my journey and just sort of sharing a video, hopefully a good video when I have one, right? And so I'm not going to say that, hey, I'm going to give you 3 videos every week, or, be a video every Saturday. I'm still really early on in this YouTube journey. The other thing that I'll say is that I don't know if you see videos on my ads or not, but I don't plan on monetizing this channel for a long time. So that's also why I want to do it my way. I just want to do what I want to do, and I don't want to do it because I'm chasing a certain number of Tinkara fly and BFS fishing are the hipsters of the fishing world. Yeah, maybe we are. It's sort of maybe that's part of why I enjoy BFS, is because it is a little bit different, and it's funny. So far, I seem to, when I run into fly fishermen on some of these other trout streams, like the most recent video where I caught some really nice fish, I talked to a handful of older fly fishermen, older than me. So they were talking about how tough the day was. I'm like, man, this is one of my best days in a long time. They're like, really? And we started talking about gear, and the guy was like, I thought your rod and reel looked weird. He's like, but it was really small, and so. And we got into that, and they started sharing a lot of other spots with me. And so I do think there's a certain amount of respect that you can get with bait finesse, because it's not, it's not throwing lures on heavy line. You can just horse stuff out. It's really more it is a finesse technique, and there's a lot more skill. I do find it to be more precise when I'm on my game. And so I enjoy it. It has made fishing fun again. And along with that, it's I used to watch fishing shows on TV and record them, and I don't do that anymore, because all of my favorite fishing programs are on YouTube. And so even with all the people that I watch regularly, I still have times where I'm like, oh, I wish I had a new video to watch, and I'll go back and watch some of the old stuff. So that's why I thought I'd say, hey, thank you to them for sort of paving the way. And some of them are right in the same spot of the journey I'm in. But all of us are, I think, trying to build this community of fishermen online. And, as time passes, I hope to meet more and more of you in person, share time on the water, create some memories catching some fish. But once again, thank you, thank you, thank you for all of your support in the past and, hopefully moving forward as well. So let me know who your favorite YouTubers are. And obviously, if there's certain kinds of stuff you want me to focus on moving forward, let me know. I'll do what I can, but I got to be me, right? So thanks. I hope you have a great weekend. And if you watch this after the fact, I just hope you have a great season of fishing. Enjoy it, and I'll see you next time. It won't let me stop.